All right, today we're diving deep into one of the most interesting parts of any boys' love drama, the antagonist. And trust me, they're not just the bad guys. How they've changed over the years from simple villains to these really complex characters, well, it tells you everything about how much the genre itself has grown. So let's get into it.
Kind of wild to think about, right? We're always so focused on the main couple, obviously. But just think for a second. What if the person, or even the thing, that's trying to tear them apart is actually the secret ingredient that makes their love story totally unforgettable?
I mean, let's be real. A love story with zero tension is, well, it's kind of boring. Antagonists aren't just there to stir the pot. They are the engine that creates conflict. They're the ones who test the main couple's bond and ultimately make us feel like their love was truly earned. They're the friction that starts the fire. Okay, so let's rewind and start at the very beginning. In the early days of BL, antagonists were super straightforward. Their job was simple, but man, was it effective at creating some serious drama.
Back then, the antagonist's role was crystal clear. You weren't supposed to understand them or feel sorry for them. Nope, they were basically a plot device, a walking, talking obstacle whose entire reason for existing was to get in the way of our main couple's happiness. That's it.
And you definitely know these types. Oh yeah. You've got the jealous ex-girlfriend who just won't let go like air and together. You've got the strict, disapproving parents who are a huge symbol of society saying no. And of course, you have the scheming rival at school or the obsessive ex from an older history series. Simple, effective, and really, really easy to root against.
This is where everything started to shift. As the stories got more mature, those characters who were just pure obstacles, well, they started to get a little complicated.
So, we enter this whole new phase. This is where we got antagonists who weren't just evil for the sake of it. They became rivals with real reasons, troublemakers with their own trauma. They became human.
And the change was huge. We went from characters who were just plain mean or jealous to characters driven by stuff we could all recognize: deep-seated pain, insecurity, or even fear. They stopped being just a roadblock and started having their own stories. And suddenly, you couldn't just hate them anymore. Sometimes, you kind of got where they were coming from.
I mean, think about Long from TharnType. He does some truly terrible things, but you find out it's all coming from this really tragic, toxic place of jealousy. And then you have Fiat, who starts out as a total troublemaker, but grows so much that he actually gets his own amazing love story later.
But wait, the evolution didn't stop there. As the writing got even smarter and more nuanced, the genre started looking inward for its conflict. And that leads us to right now, the modern era of the invisible antagonist.
And this is probably the biggest shift in modern BL dramas. The biggest obstacle standing in the way of love? It's not always another person anymore. More and more, the conflict is coming from inside the characters themselves.
Seriously, think about it. In Cherry Magic, there's no bad guy. The entire story is about the main character's own shyness and self-doubt. In the amazing Filipino series Game Boys, the antagonist was literally the pandemic. It was physical distance. And in so many other new shows, the villain is something way more real and powerful, like societal pressure, or that tough battle with internalized homophobia that we see in History 4.
So, we've seen this whole journey, from the simple, cartoonish villain all the way to these complex inner demons. But we have to ask, why does it all matter? What's the real point of putting our favorite characters through all of this?
Because here's the secret. Antagonists, in whatever shape or form they take, they aren't just obstacles. They're catalysts. They're the chemical reaction that tests a relationship, pushes it to its absolute limit, and in the end, proves just how strong it really is.
Think of it like a four-step process, right? First, the antagonist introduces a challenge. Second, that challenge forces our couple to grow and to trust each other on a whole new level. Third, that whole process reveals just how deep their relationship goes. And fourth, by getting through it all, their love becomes unbreakable. See? Without the struggle, we'd never see the strength.
And there's another, deeper layer here, too. These antagonists often work like a mirror. Whether it's a homophobic parent or a character's own shame they've been taught to feel, the antagonist often represents the very real prejudices and pressures that queer couples face in the real world, every single day.
And really, that's what it all comes down to. The fight, the challenge, the struggle, that is what makes these stories stick with us. It's what takes a cute romance and turns it into something truly epic. The happily ever after feels so much sweeter because we watch them fight like hell to get there.
So, now I have to turn it over to you. After seeing this whole evolution, what kind of story do you love the most?
Are you here for the high drama, chaos-causing villains? Or do you connect more with those quieter, internal stories, where the biggest battle is just learning to love yourself and each other?
Definitely drop your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to know what you think. And hey, if you had fun with this breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and check out some of our other explainers. Thanks so much for watching.